think it's a permanent fix. They think it's something that is a constant. They think that maybe once I get it, I'm gonna hold on to it. And that's the thing about that I was telling you, that I always talk about, is nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent. And a lot of times you have to learn to perform without motivation. You have to learn to perform without purpose. You have to learn to perform a lot of different things. And that's what people think. They think I need to have this motivation to work out, to study, to be better. So if they don't have it, they just don't fucking do it. And that's where you fail. You have to learn to train your mind well beyond motivation. If you have motivation, that's great. That's some kindling to the fire. All it takes is a little bit of fucking spark, you can burn the whole forest up. But motivation, you have to learn to exist without it. You have to learn to be, you have to be your best self when you're least motivated. And that's the tricky part about all that shit. Motivation is just a word. You have to have these different things in your mind on where you want to go and know that motivation is not going to get me there. Because I'm not going to always be motivated.
And hard work and dedication and never missing a day. The only shortcut to life is to never miss a day. One, because of compounding interest. And two, because sometimes you get lucky. And you'll never miss a lucky day if you try every day. If you don't try every day, you might miss your lucky day. And that's what people don't understand. If you never miss a day and you never don't try and you're always on time, was I late today? No, on time, and you try and improve every aspect of your life, and you're a professional, and you try and make sure that you analyze your decisions, you give yourself feedback, you don't make mistakes, you're not lazy. If you try and you make it to the top, you end up elitist, because you look at the people down below and you're like, well, why didn't you try? I did. Oh, I did too. No, you didn't. That's a lie. Now you're lying to me, and that annoys me.
When you're faced with all those issues and all those problems, and they all hit you at the same time. But let me tell you, that doesn't mean give up. In fact, it means the opposite. It means it's time for you to fight harder, to dig in. Starts with one of the fundamental laws of combat leadership: prioritize and execute. What's the biggest problem?
And then try to find something where there's an overlap of your talents and what you're interested in. So people may be good at something, or they may have skill at a particular thing, but they don't like doing it. So you want to try to find a thing where that's a good combination of the things that you're inherently good at, but you also like doing.
And when I come home, you're angry all the time. You're not satisfied about anything. You want that, whatever the situation is. If you're not going to provide for me that little bit of peace, that this is the only place I can get, what are we doing? Now, you're not vulnerable. You're not getting walked on. You're not being a jerk. You're not coming in, throwing stuff down and saying this. You're just communicating the hard reality truth is. The hard reality truth is our relationship at this point has boiled down to this. Now, you have a beautiful house. You never worry about there being grocery money. You have a car. I put the fuel in your car because you let it go to empty all the time. I provide this and this and this. And what I'd like for you is some peace and some understanding. If that's where your situation is. But to communicate it in such a way, not to come in and whine.
This is where most people stop, and this is why they don't win. Is also another beautiful bit of motivation. And given that I spent a little bit of time with Gogins and Cam Haynes, two guys, I was telling you about this before, you said must be nice as we walked in. So Cameron Haynes, bow hunter extraordinaire, lives in Oregon, and he has behind the power rack in his garage where he lifts, he has must be nice written. And I was like, why have you got that put up on there? And he was like, it's because everyone says, must be nice to be UCAM, must be nice to be sponsored by Hoyt and all of these like top level bow things and go on Rogan. He was, there was a video that went super viral of Gogins losing his shit after John Jones won last weekend, and the guy that he's hugging his cam. So it's like, it must be nice for you to be backstage at UFC, must be nice for this. And I've seen what that guy does, and that guy picks up a rock that weighs about 80 pounds, and it's got the word poser written on the front of it because people call him the poser, and he carries it up a hill that is maybe 1,000 foot of elevation, 1.5 miles high, with no fanfare at the end, no finish line, doesn't post it on social media unless the team's there filming it with someone else, and then carries it back down, puts it in the boot of his Raptor, drives away. And he just does that because he needs to remind himself that he's doing the stuff that is hard. And this is where most people stop, and this is why they don't win, combined with this is what hard feels like, justifies things being hard. Now, I do worry, and I find this in myself sometimes as well, that you can be so good at dealing with suffering that you can actually push yourself a little bit too far. And you go, I'm starting to bear more burden than I can basically take on. And the art of not burning out is something that I think a lot of people, if this resonates with you, the art of not burning out is something that you really, really need to be able to feel. And like realizing what happens when you just start to glance off the bottom side of it and go, okay, like I'm just gonna ease off the gas a little. I need to take this afternoon to go sauna and get some sunshine and chill out and get some food, and then I can put my foot back on maybe a little bit tomorrow and we'll temper it. But it justifies the fact that I use this stat all the time. 90% of podcasts don't make it past episode 3, and of the 90%, the 10% that do, 90% don't make it past episode 20. So by making 21 podcasts, you're in the top percentile of all podcasters ever in history. That's what hard feels like. And that's not even hard, it's just consistent. Fuck me, it's less than half a year.
Also, I think discipline. People, you know what, people use that word so loosely.
What does it mean to you?
You have to have the ability, when it comes to discipline, it's like you have to sacrifice loved ones. You have to sacrifice loved ones for a long period of time if you want to be great. It is very unfortunate, and you feel it at times. You know the saying: if it's too hot, get the hell out of the kitchen. Sometimes you just gotta get out of the kitchen because it gets hot. But you have to have a discipline to sometimes you have to sacrifice loved ones in order to be great because they don't understand. And that's okay. They don't understand what it means to, like, I am getting up every single day at 5 or 6 a.m. And when I get home after everyone leaves the gym, I'm gonna take a nap. So now you're sacrificing your loved ones because you're not spending time with them. And when I wake up, I'm probably gonna train again, and then I'm gonna have dinner, and then I'm going to bed. And I'm gonna do that every single day for a long period of time. That's sacrificing and discipline. And for me, I was 18 when I came into the league. So I got my best friends from high school that's now in college. I got one that's at Ohio State. I got 2 that's at the University of Akron. I have another one that's at a school in West Virginia, Fairmount State. And they're calling me and telling me, hey, bro, you gotta come down to these parties. You're not going to college, you're never gonna be in college. And I couldn't do it. I look back on it now, I wish I would have done a few of them, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, I wish I did. But then the third thing JJ asked, do you really love the game? Like, do you really love the game? And I'm not just talking about like wins and losses. Do you really love the process of the game and everything that happens before the referee does like this? That's the easy part. You know this. You was one of the first ones in the gym, one of the last ones to leave. Everyone sees when the cameras are rolling and the 20,000 fans are there and the cheerleaders are dancing and the popcorn is popping and the celebrities are sitting in celebrity row. But like, who has the love for the game when nobody is there?
You have a hamstring injury, you pull your hamstring really, really badly. You can barely walk, right? Let alone play anything. Soccer, basketball, volleyball, whatever it is. You can't do anything. Doctor tells you go home, sit up on the couch, rest your hammy, right? Stay off of it, don't get up, no sudden movements. You're at home, all of a sudden a fire breaks out in the home. Your kids are upstairs, wife is wherever she may be, shit's going down, right? I'm willing to bet that you're gonna forget about your hamstring, you're gonna sprint upstairs, you're gonna grab your kids, make sure your wife's good, you're getting out of that house, right? Hamstring be damned. You're not gonna feel your hamstring, right? And the reason is because the lives of your family are more important than the injury of your hamstring. And so when the game is more important than the injury itself, you don't feel that